man.
I was just thinking about what you get.
Hey, Sam, how you doing?
Hey! See? Look at
Hawaii?
him drawing it. Well, shut up. We're going to talk about that in the show. Before we begin, sponsor mentions and some of our great supporters. Scratch Labs, everybody from simple sources of fuel ideas like potatoes and rice cakes. Paul was telling me that story. But I hear it on another show, one of the escape shows. Something
Yeah,
like
it was Escape Collective.
Yeah. To rice cakes to the modern high-carb fuel options that they produce today. Scratch keeps you going, easy on the gut, and tastes brilliant. Be sure to see. That was a hard sentence for me. But it rhymed. Be sure to see all that Scratch has to offer today. Next, Muck Off, the finest in care for your finest possessions. That's right. You must care for your bikes, or they will not only look badly, but perform badly. Muck Off makes it so easy, from tubeless setup to lube and cleaning tools and liquids. Muck Off will keep things rolling so smoothly. I had a horrible visual in my head. Get over to the website today by using the link at packfiller.com and get 15% off your first order today. And finally, NordVPN. NordVPN is on board with the Packfiller. Trick the internet into allowing you to watch all the racing online with safe, secure, consistent VPN connection. Trust us, we all are NordVPN believers here. Use our link at Packfiller to get started. Do it because Milan-San Remo is this weekend, and you do not want to miss on all the commentators trying to make the first 4 hours interesting. Because it is a snooze fest, man. Is it 4? It might be. We'll get to the race coverage here, but it's long.
Yeah, well, I think the TV coverage starts at 1:30 our time, and I think it finishes around 8:30.
And you'll be up.
Not at 1. If that was Paris-Roubaix,
Yeah. Okay. Well, now that Americans are at the pointy end of bike races, you might just be listening to this show for the first time. And if that is indeed the case, welcome. You have found the longest running cycling podcast out there, and very likely, and hopefully one of the funniest, or at least one of the most beer-fueled. This is the Packfiller Cycling Podcast. We are live from the Rim Break Bar on our YouTube channel, as well as packfiller.com. I am your humble yet sore-shouldered host, Pat Bulger. You know what?
How's that going?
I'll get to it in a second. Remind me before I get through into it. But let's jump right into it as we have plenty to cover over the next 90 minutes. Tonight's prologue question for the panel is as follows. What is your favorite animated movie? Animated movie. Full-length, feature-length animated movie. All right? First off, he's starting to perfect the art of self-deprecation when it comes to cycling fitness. Mr. Paul Main, you have been so hard on yourself lately.
Because I'm so out of shape.
It's such bullshit.
I'm terrible.
You're just saying that because I kind of kept up, but he's doing it to make me feel like, oh, well, I suck, so you must suck worse.
No. You were talking, and I was breathing through my
Oh, shit, I
ass.
was like, it was all monosyllabic. How are you, and what is your favorite animated movie?
The Triplets of Belleville.
I started that the other day. I couldn't get into it. That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Very interesting choice.
Not much dialogue.
No. And some
music.
strange music and,
Yeah.
and old women eating boiled frogs.
Yeah, gross.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a cycling.
It is.
It's
It's
a
very
cycling
cycling.
one. Yeah, and it won an Academy Award for best foreign film.
Yeah. It's
and
kind of cool. It's an artwork. It's
but
an art film.
I liked some of those, like Mr. Hewlett. I think it's Hewlett Holiday. That was done in the 40s, and it was just like no dialogue.
So Euro.
He's cool.
Well, that
with all
that
this.
was in my intro to theater class, and we had to watch it, and then it's Mon Oncle or whatever it's called.
Didn't
he
watch
did
it
another
in
one.
my
He was
intro to
a
theater.
French comedian that didn't need dialogue. He did a lot of like Buster Keaton type stuff.
Yeah. All right, next, he's starting to perfect the art of spring training camps, Mr. Sam Waples.
You know,
Bastard.
I'm booked out for the next 2 years, too.
Are you really?
Yeah, we're going for the next 2.
Did you get your teeth whitened
You
too?
No.
said
That's just
you weren't.
early.
You said you weren't going back.
I know. I was supposed to go back, and then we were there, and they were like, well, we have the same place next year, and it took all of 30-second convincing. Ken's like, I'm going to have to check with Sam, and they're like, okay, Sam's going to say no.
Wow. Week of just fun and riding
Almost
in
2
Hawaii.
weeks. 12 days.
Holy shit. We're going to get to that too. You son of a bitch. Next, he's starting to perfect the art of cut rate medical advice. Mr. Dr. David Waples. You said it yourself in a text today. What do I have but cut-rate medical advice?
It's true.
It is. It's
True.
Yeah.
I would like to reframe it as medical advice from your doctor friend.
There we go.
Not your doctor.
Yeah, not your doctor.
Not your doctor friend.
Yes.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Do not hold me
Accountable for
Accountable
any
for
knowledge
anything.
that I am providing on this podcast.
Yes, exactly. Sam, what was your favorite animated movie?
Anything Pixar, I'd probably say like Up. That'll make you cry. That'll make you
my
feel
God.
things all within the first 5 minutes is a good one.
First 5 minutes is the saddest movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, probably the most animated movie I've watched is like Swan Princess, though. Love that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was when I was a child. I don't
Inside
know.
Story. Okay.
It's just a movie I watched probably every day when I was
Really?
a child until I was like 10. I don't know.
Swan? I wouldn't pick you as a
Swan
Swan
Princess. That's
guy.
not even like a Disney movie. That's like a rip-off Disney movie.
Really?
Yeah. It's bad.
David, what's your favorite animated movie?
Man, the one that comes to mind, I think it's because there's no words and it's like kind of like an adventure. It's the Wall. Do you remember the Wallace and Gromit?
Wally.
Oh, well, Wallace.
Wallace and Gromit.
Oh,
Yeah,
Wallace
yeah.
would be a good one too. But Wallace and Gromit, it's like cheese, love cheese, go on the moon, love the moon.
Yeah.
Rockets. That sounds cool. He's got
Cool
dogs,
gizmos.
Gizmos. No words really. Love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, all
Yeah,
imagination.
that was good.
That was
Doesn't
Claymation.
one of them speak English, though?
No, they speak. It's just
It's
not
just-
a lot of speaking.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like
Yeah.
very minimal amount of.
Like
actual-
the
Yeah,
dog.
Wallace is
Thinking.
talking.
Yeah.
you know,
Minimal
like
thinking.
talk- yeah,
that
yeah.
too. Yeah.
And they're also pretty short.
Yeah. I like the whole series.
It has nothing to do with height. Okay, don't be so harsh on your brother.
Good lord.
Jesus.
You
Sensitive
heightest.
prick.
He has the mic right now.
Heightest. Next, he is starting to perfect the art. I don't know what you're perfecting the art of. I couldn't come up with anything. I was I was gonna say
Well-roundedness.
facial hair, but that's mean because you've curated your facial hair.
his hair on his head has really come into a piece
Yeah.
in this last 6 months.
Well, I appreciate that.
God.
It's I've changed
clean.
hairdressers.
Yeah.
It's been great.
It
Yeah.
shows.
Look how arrow he is.
Is it tough changing hairdressers?
I find at first that it is a little bit.
Do you
Just
get
because
nervous?
do I get nervous?
Yeah, about it. Like you
Well,
you go to somebody you knew. Like that's
I mean, I've spoken pretty openly about how I have anxiety. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a pretty stressful. thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
But then, like now, I'm very
It's like a
fine.
trust built.
Yeah, I'm very fine.
Yeah.
Like just talking to her. Like
Yeah.
God, that's real.
My first cuts usually when I go to somebody like that, I end up walking out of there looking like a 70-year-old businessman. It's like my hair's kind of coiffed. It's kind of bigger. I look
Yeah.
like I should be selling you a house.
Well, I noticed that when I go to a hairdresser, I've always been a very vain is a word,
Vain is a word.
Vain is a
or
word.
just
But you're the good way.
or
You're
just
the,
like
you're
very
good vein.
I'm very conscious about my appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I am very specific about what I like in a haircut. So I have to go to a hairdresser rather than a barber because there is a difference.
Yeah. Oh
So-
yeah.
I go to
Oh, there's
somebody
big
new
difference.
every time so that I never have to
Whoever
talk.
is at
whoever
Supercuts.
whoever won't talk. Because if you go to the same person over and over, they're gonna want to know about you. They're gonna want to talk to you. I don't want
Dude,
to talk.
I talk to people
I
all
want
day.
you to cut my hair in silence, and that's it.
That's why I stopped going to people. I just cut my own hair. It's not worth it.
So you go to those places where they're like, "Oh, we got you on file. You're a number 2 on the sides and a number 6 on top," kind of a thing like that.
By the time I'm on file, I'm out. I'm finding a new one. Yeah, because
Wow.
they're gonna try to talk to me.
Some kind of he's living a life like a criminal. or something
I
like
get that. I totally get that. I started cutting my own hair because I was like, this is taking far too long. This should take 15 minutes.
I go to the same stylist Jackson does, and
Yeah.
she takes a while, but that's because it's an engaging conversation.
And it's worth it, I will say. The hairdresser I went to before was very much like it was in and out. Great haircut, but
Yeah.
a little inconsistent sometimes. This time, boom, every time the same.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
my favorite
She's broke.
animated
Favorite animated movie.
favorite animated movie. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
I was almost gonna say that one. That was
That's a great choice.
I
That is a beautiful.
love the
film.
first one. Obsessed with
I
the
haven't
second
seen the
one.
second.
Well, we have it on our
Okay.
I have it on my Apple TV.
Okay.
So it's very, very good.
Okay.
I really liked it. And it was nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah.
So-
I picked it, but it didn't win.
Yeah.
That's because
It's my favorite of the two.
okay.
Nice.
Me, I'm starting to perfect the art of training hard until spring and then basically sucking the entire summer. I do that really well. My winters and spring are dialed.
Yeah,
Nice weather gets here, I'm like, meh.
yeah.
And then I get to summer and I'm like, why am I not fast?
And then fall comes, you're like, I'm going to be really prepared
I'm
this
gonna
year.
kick ass, and I just
And you
dial.
do.
Yeah, exactly. My favorite animated movie is honestly, it's The Incredibles. I've always
I know,
loved The Incredibles.
Pixar.
Has a tie to Spokane.
Yeah.
because
Wait.
the man who voiced Mr. Incredible is from Spokane. What's his name again?
Well, no
He was on
shit.
Coach too.
Yeah.
hang
Went to
on.
the same high school as me.
I used to yell, "Where's my super suit?" every time I'd put on a long sleeve skin suit.
Super
Yeah.
suit. Where's my super suit?
You tell me what that suit is, woman.
Where's my super
Craig T. Nelson.
Yeah, there you
Craig
go.
T. Nelson.
Yep.
Paul, I kept thinking you were looking at your phone for that, but you're looking at GU scores.
Yes.
I'm impressed that you're here, by the way. So this is.
Well, I
not
don't
bad.
have tickets to in Las Vegas.
That's
Is it
true.
WCC final?
Yeah.
Nice.
See you tomorrow, everybody. No, gentlemen, before we get into detail, how many training days? Not the detail of the training days. How many training days have you had over the past week? You want to go first, Hula Boy?
I didn't get as many last week, actually, because of bad weather. So I had to miss because it was like crazy windy or raining.
Oh, okay.
And like over there, it's pretty dangerous because you'll get gusts of like 35
Yeah.
that will just wipe you out. Or if it's wet, it's snot. It is.
Oh, really?
Oh, that road, you'll go down so fast.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm pretty confident with my bike handling, and I wouldn't push it.
Okay.
Not worth it. So I lost a couple days, but I think I got 3 or 4 in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they're all decent rides, like 2-3 hours.
Oh, man. Jackson, how many days you get in?
From last Tuesday,
Yeah.
I think it was 3.
3.
So yeah,
That's
just
total
normal ones.
training, even including strength or anything like that? Or
Oh.
you probably did it every day.
I didn't do it every day, so 5.
Okay.
Yeah,
5.
including weight and everything.
Paul,
3.
3.
Today,
We did an outside day, which
Yep.
was nice. Oh, you did you go out today?
Went out today and
Nice.
Sunday.
Oh man, it was windy today too.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Ooh,
Yes, it was.
look who the big boy is. David, what's your
4.
total? 4. Nice. I got 3 rides in. I got 2 strength days in, and I got another physical therapy in yesterday, and have a new physical therapist. I'm switching back. Sam was there. Flipped him off.
True.
Have a new physical therapist. I'm not going to name his name because I don't have his permission to do that. But it was super nice. I feel actually better today. So two in, and I feel better. I do want to say, and this was not his fault in any way, shape, or form, but every time he used the to start a sentence by saying, "Well, when we get older."
Love him.
It's like, he's right, but God damn it!
I also love that he notices your voice. Like, he knows your voice from local events. Like, that is the best.
Well, he looked at me
'Cause you've been
kind of
doing it
like a
for so
curious
long.
dog
Yeah.
for a couple seconds. He's like, I know where you're
tossing
coming
from side to
from.
side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But when we get older, and I found out that I basically should not be lifting things above my head now, unless my thumbs are up.
Yeah.
No, if my thumbs are to the side or down, that's bad. Mm-hmm. And here my hands are above my head.
So you can't dunk the basketball.
I can't dunk the basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Causes an impingement.
yes, that was the word he used.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like such an idiot, but an old idiot.
Why would you know that?
I really like all the knowledge I'm getting from everybody.
I'm just
there.
saying that, like,
It has
why,
been-
like, that's, like, you shouldn't know any of that stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of your stuff that I have no clue about.
Yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying is it's a really cool experience, and I'm enjoying it. Even though I found out last week that predominantly old people go to physical therapy. Yeah, now
Who said that?
Well, when we get older,
Well, if you walk in the clinic, you'll see a certain demographic.
yeah. David,
Pat's demographic.
yeah. there was a lady with one of those walkers that you sit in, and I was just like going, those are so. You know what? But they'd be really convenient. Like when you're in the grocery line or something like that, and you just want to spin around and cop a squat, and you just, well, we're moving, and then you just move your feet like a shuffle. It'd be kind of cool. They have a handbrake and
We're
everything.
pretty close to that.
Yeah,
just saying.
we are. Yeah, they have a handbrake, but it's not a. I think it actually. No, it's a pad brake.
pad.
It's not disc. That'd be pretty impressive.
That'd be awesome.
Disc brake.
That's the future.
Yeah.
Oh, I got air in my brake hose. I can't stop.
And it's like all chaos, and they zoom out, and the person's going 1 mile an hour.
Yeah.
Grandma, what's wrong? You find you at the bottom of the stairs. Fucking disc brakes. David, you got you participated in a little jaunt this weekend. Correct me if I'm wrong. 85 mile. How much gravel? How many? What would you say percent?
Okay, they lied.
Oh.
The thing said like that there was like 20 miles. It was definitely more than 20 miles. It was maybe 20 of road. So
Is that because you were going slow?
No, that doesn't change how much road and gravel there is.
Well, it feels longer when you're going slower, David.
That's fair. But I looked back at the map where they indicated there was road. It was all gravel.
Okay.
The descent was gravel too.
The descents were actually, most of them were all paved. That was nice. Yeah.
85 miles and about just over 6,000 feet of climbing.
63, yeah.
In March.
Yep.
First of all, why? And actually, no, I would have done it too if it wasn't that far.
Yeah.
But how'd it go, Chief?
Not well. I actually had high hopes going into it. Like I thought this training that I've been doing was great. Like I've been feeling pretty good when I was out. Got the new bike. Put some Sam's carbon wheels on it. Like I got new gravel shoes. So new bike, new gravel shoes that I've never ridden. That was the first time out.
The placebo was high on that.
Yeah, I was like stoked. I was pumped going into it. The first 30 miles, to be honest, so the first hour and a half, which is about what I've been doing for training, excellent. There were some amazingly fast guys out there, like legit, Conti Pro guys from around here, who reported the ride as a fat-burning exercise on their Strava. Screw that. But anyways.
Screw that, screw them.
Screw them. I stuck with them for the first 90 minutes, and then I imploded harder than I've ever imploded in my entire life. And I don't even know what kind of power I was putting out. I don't know but I never passed another person. I just got passed for the next 50 miles. I told myself I was quitting more in that race than I probably said ever in my life. I stopped twice to actually quit. And then I couldn't bring myself to do it. At one point we crossed the finish, crossed right by the finish line, and then we went and did another 30-mile loop.
Camera.
And I literally made the left to cut the race off at mile 60, and I looked at everybody at the finish, and I thought, I can't tell them I quit because I'm going to cross before all the other guys, and I'm going to have to tell them I'm quitting, otherwise I'm going to win the race, win the Gran Fondo. And so I turned around and I kept going, and then I got to the last aid station. I was like, this is it. I'm turning around. I'm going to fill my bottles. I'm taking snacks, and I'm going home. And everybody cheered when I showed up. And I was
Those
like,
bastards.
Those bastards. And I was like, I can't turn around in front of these people. And I just kept going and going. I was so miserable. And I did nothing right. I didn't have any food. I didn't eat or drink for the first 60 minutes. I only had 2 bars and a gel with me because that's all that was in my cupboards. And the snacks were garbage. You paid $100 for a Grand Fondo. They better have good snacks.
Were they like Kirkland nuts and stuff like that?
Yeah, and peanut M&Ms. Tried to take a handful and eat them. Spit them all out.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't go down.
Yeah, it did not sit well.
Too much brewer's yeast?
Too much peanut. The peanut doesn't go down well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it was terrible. I finished probably an hour behind where I would have hoped. But, I'd stopped multiple times to quit.
So that does subtract some of it.
That subtracts a little bit of it, but either way, it was. But hopefully, it did me well for the long run.
Fat burning.
I was happy with the first 90 minutes.
Yeah,
and I honestly didn't see the crash coming, like the bonk.
Yeah.
I felt wonderful until all of a sudden I didn't.
Okay.
No. You have.
I would just.
First of all, I don't think I've ever seen you happier than when your brother was telling the story of his misfortune.
I love it when he's in pain.
Wow.
It is a sick pleasure of mine. So I will just digest this, right? Because this is like
We can
something
all go
that
pee
David
and
knows
just-
exactly where I'm going with this because I have preached this for the longest time. He's my younger brother. I'm never going to let him die out on the road. But I am always like, okay, I think I need about this many gels. It's going to take all of that. I'm doing calculations in my mind of calories burned for all of this, how much I'm going to need. Okay, double it.
Yep.
Here you go, David. And I hand it to him. And he just shows up and he rocks it, right? Like he crushes. I'm not there.
I mean, if you want to blame the whole thing on the nutrition.
I want to blame a large portion on the nutrition.
The other thing is I ripped out 300 square feet of carpet and laid 300 square feet of floor on Friday and Saturday, and I couldn't move. So
you're a
single
poor planner on top of a dipshit when it comes to fuel.
I couldn't move before I got on the bike, and I got on. And I was like, oh yeah, that's about right. And I started pedaling, and I was like, it'll get better. Everything will loosen up as I pedal. Like, and it kind of did. Kind of. By the end, it didn't. I don't know if it was just.
What was the analogy of your matchbook that you lit off?
Oh yeah. I had one of those one of those restaurant matchbooks that somebody left like 5 or 6 matches in.
Yeah.
And then somebody handed me a sparkler, and I just lit it all on fire. And then that was
in an hour and a half, and then just
Actually, it was on the first. It was on the first 1,000-foot climb.
You stripped naked and danced around it like Lord of the Flies.
Yep. Because I made it over that first 1,000-foot climb with the front group, and then I just imploded. I was like, well, I really thought you guys would slow down.
I really thought this was going to go differently.
Wait, guys, wait for me.
I thought once we got to the top, we would back off.
Yeah.
Hey, no fair. You guys didn't read the manual. Oh, no.
Friggin' brutal.
Okay, that was worth every second of it. And by the way, I also know how you did because I saw Strava, and I also saw Strava of some very cool people who are older than me who beat you.
You don't have to tell me, man. Every time somebody passed me, I'd be like, "What the fuck? What is wrong with me?
Why?
What is going on?"
Kill me.
Mama.
I quit.
Brand new bike. Pull into the driveway, throw it in the dumpster.
Yep.
Man, that's gonna pay dividends though. Like I was talking last year. Pull it up. Like I had my one day of torturing David. That's not happening this year because he has this under his belt.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, those you can bank those. Good fat burning. Jackson, I know you keep your cards really close to the chest, but how do you feel in comparison to last year?
It's a different game, I will say. It's 100% different. It's just like I talk about it probably. Is it ad nauseum?
Ad nauseum.
Ad nauseum.
Yeah.
Okay. But I will say that I have found that the strength training has helped quite heavily.
Really?
And in the way that I also strength train as well. I find that, I've actually done research into this stuff, but I found that rather than when you take a squat, you don't just take it and then push back up. You take it and you explode back up.
Bounce.
Yeah. So just little things like that, have really helped me. My upper body strength is a lot different this year. So just popping into those sprints, it's that initial burst is bigger than what it was. I can sustain a lot of things a lot better. I heard my brother-in-law the other day talk about how he was saying the exact opposite of what I'm about to say. But I have found that my physical endurance, muscularly, I don't know if that's how you'd say it, is much better than what it was. I would find that my legs were filling with lactic acid instantly the second I started to push for more than 3 minutes.
Yeah.
This year is a little different. Now I feel that just strength
really
when I push on it. So it's better, much better.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shit. Paul, why are you so hard on yourself? Why are you so hard on yourself?
No, I know where I'm at.
You and I sprinted for a city limit sign on a ride on Saturday.
It was pathetic.
How was it pathetic?
It was like two old men. We
are
didn't even read.
but how is it pathetic?
On that sprint, because it's slight downhill. This is the one going down Thorpe.
Oh, I love that
It's
one.
like I always hit at least 40. We didn't even hit 40 miles an hour.
Well, that's because we started late.
It doesn't matter.
Usually we're rolling into that thing pretty damn fast.
It was like we were making dad noises in the sprint. My belly was hitting the top tube. It was terrible.
Shit.
It was
Come
awful.
on.
It was so embarrassing. It's because usually if I can get rolling, then I can just pop it in one bigger gear, and it's just I could feel like an explosion. It was just meh. That was about it.
You're killing me.
Yeah.
He was saying that. He's saying that, and I get home and I look at Strava, and I hit 1,300 watts.
I didn't.
Maybe for 2 seconds, but still. And he's just like, "Oh, we're old. We suck, don't we?" And the devil's on my shoulder going, "You do suck."
Yes, you do.
You were getting better, but now you're back to the bowels of hell.
Thanks.
Suck. Nobody likes you. They only come to your house for the beer, pussy.
Yes. Yes.
I'll change my the way I.
Nah,
eat
too
my
late, man.
Thanksgiving.
I'm back down there.
I'm
back
sorry.
to the therapist.
I threw you down in the gutter again, didn't I?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Shit. I do need to mention that I was late to a WSBA meeting last night, which is the Washington State Bicycling Association, but caught the good information that there's a pretty good race calendar starting to build around here.
Nice.
It's getting really impressive. So David had me thinking about these first kind of opener questions, although I got to go kind of quickly, getting to all of our content we got. What does it take for you to travel to a race? Does it need to be something substantial, like more than a crit? Because I was thinking about there are some individual crits on the schedule. But I have a feeling that some of you guys are bouncing around in the back of your head. Well, it's just a 45-minute or an hour crit. That's a long drive. I wouldn't do that. Yet we'd go for a fondo where we have to eat Costco nuts or M&M peanuts or something like that.
I will say that I would probably much rather spend the time and the money to go to a crit where my wife can see me more than one time and not be like, oh, great, now I have to fill 4 hours. And I can have a time doing a race that all of us will probably be involved in honestly probably a cooler area than, no offense to the lovely Tri-Cities, but than the Tri-Cities.
No,
That's-
And not only
I don't
that,
think the
for
Tri-Cities
1/3 of the
is-
price.
Yeah, that's the thing. So it's like, I would probably, not probably, 100% do that.
Really?
Yeah.
I expected the opposite out of you guys.
I would 100% need 2 days of racing. So it'd have to be a Saturday, Sunday.
That would
Or
make
at
it
least
worth
2
it.
races. I'm not going to go to the West Side for one race. It's just, I'm not going to. Just like
I
they're
would-
not
I would
going to
do
come
it
over here
for-
for one race.
I would
Yeah.
do it for like a crit, district championship. I would.
Yeah.
Like I would
That's
maybe
about
go
it.
over for Derby days, right? Like or Ballard. Those are like big high crits that we used to do that are just they're exciting. I would maybe make a weekend out of that, or something new is the big thing. Like I went and did Tri-Cities because I was like, what could they possibly have to offer? And I will tell you though, it sucked. There were some really cool roads that I rode, and I have always despised Kennewick, and I think I still do. But like it was
It
cool
left a
to
bad taste in
see
my
somewhere
mouth.
new. Yeah, that's why I wanted to do Montana last year. It's like
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never ridden over there.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of it for me is new roads.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say they used to have a really good Horsehaven was a race that they had like a 2
We
day.
went up Horsehaven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was probably they used part of that course. That was
Yeah.
part of
When
the
my
road
wife
course.
ass me, where is there 6,000 feet of climbing in the Tri-Cities? And I
There's
said,
a
well, you got
plateau,
the
man.
Horsehaven
You get up
Hills,
there.
you got the,
Yeah.
you got all that kind of stuff out
Okay,
there.
side note, you know what the worst sign is for a bike race? When you look around, there's nothing but windmills. That's a horrible, horrible sign.
Yeah.
The
Oh, I
race
love
is going to
that.
Unless
stop.
you're
Love that.
195 pounds and 6'3".
Yeah, I love.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like
Or
my
graveyards. Graveyards are bad too, though.
territory.
That
Yeah,
too.
yeah. Or
Rendezvous Blues.
meth farms. Or specific flags voting for a specific political candidate.
Anyways,
How about accommodation needs? Like, do you guys need... There's a couple things that got me thinking about traveling to races. Number one, okay, what does the race have to be? Number two, I know a lot of people who are like, how willing are you to get up the morning of the race at 4 o'clock in the morning to drive across the state, do the race? Or do you need to know that there's a hotel involved? And even worse, when the race finishes in the late afternoon on a Sunday and you know you've got a 5-6 hour drive ahead of you and you've got work the next day. What are your thoughts on, like, is there a requirement of any of that? Or is it just like, do you even consider that? I think about that all the time. I won't go to concerts here in Spokane if they're on a weeknight. I'll buy tickets to them and I'll pull a Sam. I'll just be like, well, I bought the tickets. Anybody want them? No, I'm going to bed.
I don't know. I feel like this is me personally, but I think I need a night before because I think that if I'm getting up and driving that day of,
It's hard.
it's hard. And if I'm going to travel any sort of distance over, I would say 2 hours, I'm probably aiming to do well.
Yeah.
And so I want to give myself the best chance possible. If I'm driving, I heard it from Tyler Williams on EJ Trains.
training camp.
EJ's training camp. He said that a car ride is really not a recovery. It's just sitting in a tight box for
It's
a certain
bad.
amount of time. And so I would need that night before. I don't care if I'm driving home after, though.
Really?
Like, I kind of have fun with my wife on car trips. It's just kind of something get to talk
Hey,
about,
and
see the
you're
scenery.
So
It's
wired after a bike race. Like,
yeah. So it's just
Really?
like yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any problems coming. The coming back is going there. If you go the same day, your legs are blocked. There's no way you're going to open your legs up
Yeah.
before. It's just a hassle, and so you would have to. And back when we were racing, we had plenty of friends on the west side. You always said, "Hey, I'm coming over." You had a place to crash.
You had plenty of friends on the right side. I had a rich dad.
So you bought your friends.
No, bought a hotel.
That's funny. That is funny.
Sorry, he's not listening.
That is really funny.
Good Lord.
But, no, and you know, and I have a hard time driving back because,
Let me do the driving then.
yeah,
I have no problems.
really,
Yeah.
I would do that.
Like you said,
Yeah.
I'm jacked. Especially, a crit or something, you're just you're
Yeah.
Oh
buzzing.
yeah, I get done with like even these weeknight ones, and like they finish 7:30 or
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
God, I'm not going to bed before
It's
midnight.
hard.
Oh
to
no,
go to
I'll
bed.
give you that. I'm jacked from those, but if I
well-
gotta sit into a car for 5 hours, I'm like, my wife's like, let's listen to Toad the Wet Sprocket, and I'm like, no, it's Mellow. Yeah, I know you guys lost that reference, but that's an
Yeah.
old Mellow
No,
band.
I got it.
am-
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Very
like to be
awake.
driven.
Yeah, David is gonna crawl in.
Fall asleep.
And
Yeah.
just,
Yep. I had a friend drive me down and back to Tri-Cities this weekend, which was a lifesaver. I could hardly keep my eyes open on the way home.
Yeah.
So
Well, that
Well,
drive
you died.
is
miserable.
that drive sucks too. Yeah.
I will say, piggybacking off of this, I know everybody hates that saying, but do you guys feel like you are able to, or have like trained yourselves to, after a ride, bounce into like the mode of, oh, I'm gonna like do other things now. I'm gonna be like the fun guy, or do you feel like after a ride, you feel like you're just like day's done?
Ride a race, first of all.
Right. So like we all go on like a hard training ride, like one of those 4-hour training rides. Do you feel like you just go to sleep, or you bounce into like, let's have fun?
That depends. For me, it depends on when I get home, what my wife is doing.
Fair enough.
If my wife is hanging out on the couch, I go straight upstairs, I take a shower, and I go to sleep. If she's in the yard working on shit, I pout and
Go work on
You
it.
hide.
go work on stuff. Yeah, or I hide. Yeah, exactly. No, I'd like to say I used to be able to be far more energetic. I do remember one specific day on a really hard training ride. I can't remember who said it to me, but a guy looked at me next to me, and I was supposed to take you, Jackson, to Finding Nemo in the movie theaters. And I looked at him. I said, "I got to take my kid to a movie this afternoon. I can barely think." It was like Bonksville. It was like David this last weekend, except without the cool hair and beard. And he looked at me. He says, "When you get home, don't sit down. Go straight upstairs, shower, come straight downstairs, take your kid to the movie. Don't stop." And I didn't. But I fell asleep during Finding Nemo. Somebody could have stolen you, abducted you, taken you away, and I would have been just like, "Huh?
Well, that was before those days.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
before that
there,
really
there were no
happened.
creepers back
Yeah.
in 2006.
Yeah.
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 Anybody else? How do you?
I
do?
would say for me it depends. In the old days where you were training for me like 90-mile, 85-mile, rides
Yeah.
or races, we would just beat each other up, and I'd have to come home with my practice wife and pretend that I'm okay and I can't perform. I just was wrecked. But now it's a different thing because I don't have to train that far.
You had practice though too.
Yeah, and I had practice.
You understood.
And my location now, because I don't have to do yard work, and I don't have to see. This is
You
the
just get to
long
go
term.
home.
Yeah, you're kind of in the same situation.
Yeah.
There's not much to do. We have house cleaners that come in and clean. That's always been a hassle before,
Sweet.
and it's just
Well,
like.
you might have some human feces in your parking spot or something.
Yeah,
like that,
that's not my
This is our little
my
town.
problem.
This is our little town of Bethlehem.
They're gonna eat it anyways.
It's not meth anymore. It's fentanyl.
Xylazine.
And xylazine.
Fentanyl
It's-
doesn't sound as cool as
They're
Bethlehem.
just bent over and they pick up pieces of gravel and they just stare at it, and it's weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, But yeah, I mean,
so did
now-
David on mile 83.
But at my age, here's
Why
the
am I
thing:
out here?
with my real wife, not my practice wife, she want to do something. Yeah, we just go to Purgatory. Let's go to Brick West, and I have a beer and we sit and chat. So it's all good. So,
Yeah. I know that's like a rule. You can't if it's gonna make it so that you're a vegetable for the rest of the day. Nope.
You're
And
gonna
so
get yourself in trouble. With
yep.
your wife.
And so
Yeah.
I am like, I also there's very few far between rides over probably 60 miles now.
But there have been some rides I remember with you where you were like, I am wrecked. I am toast. Did you go home and lie and pretend you were fine?
Hey man, what are you gonna do? I'm ready for anything.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I'm then like drooling.
Because you didn't want a practice wife.
Yeah, I don't want to
Yeah.
mess it. This is the wife.
But I'm married. I'll be married for 30 years this May, and
And she knows you. She's just like, oh, you're adorable. Go lay down.
no, she'll look at me more like, you asshole.
Yeah.
Go lie down.
You failed.
She's nice.
Yeah. But she'll be like,
That's not an
I'm
option.
destroyed.
It's just not even an option.
Really?
No.
No, there's things to be done.
Oh my God.
It's like this Saturday, I'm thinking
Otherwise-
it's really good weather.
Yeah,
How do
it is.
I get in a really good longer ride and still get all the stuff done that I need to get done?
Yeah, I want to bash this weekend.
Yeah.
That
I'm
sounds kind of
Break
sexual,
you
but
all. I'm gonna break
All right.
you all.
I don't mean it in a
Right.
bad
You're
way.
dying.
I will
Nope.
die. I am. In
I don't
a
know if
bad
I'll even
way.
see you past mile 20.
I'm
And-
not gonna be here.
Yeah.
I gotta go to my stepmom's 80th birthday, so I'm out of town for
Yeah.
36 hours.
What?
Yeah. I'm not upset about it. They're not listening.
Oh no!
Yeah. 80th birthday though, that's a big dog. That's a big one. That's like swallow it and go.
Yeah, I know.
So
I know.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
It's Bozeman. That's a cool town, though.
It is. If it was in the 60s.
No,
If
it's
it was-
Have you been to the Leaf and Bean?
Yeah. Oh, I've been all
That's a
over
good
the
place.
town.
Yeah.
No, what I'd love is if it was like it was here. I'd take my bike because in the middle of the day, they might just
need
kind
a
of hang
nap.
out. Like, yeah, well, I need a nap too. But, just go over there and just go out for a couple hours. It'd be nice. But
Go to Manhattan.
yeah, I
You know
my-
where that little
Yeah,
town?
yeah.
Kansas?
No, Manhattan, Montana,
Oh, gotcha.
and it's called the Oasis. And you get a
The
chunk
steakhouse. I've been there.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Great town too.
Yeah.
You guys are gross.
They have some good bike racing there too, and they just like Missoula. Well, actually,
I'm not going to
Bozeman's
Montana again.
Bozeman's
Hurt
worse.
my ego.
Bozeman's worse than Missoula. You throw a rock in Bozeman, and you're going to hit somebody either on the World Cup or with less than 5% body fat.
Yeah, I don't want to race those people.
Multi-millionaire.
Yeah, and they're going to smile at you with those big toothy grins. Hi, we just moved from insert California
anymore.
down
I'm
here.
better than you.
Yeah, exactly. But they're nice, and that's what
I know.
This
I
is
hate it.
Fuck!
I don't want to be friends with any of them.
Yeah. My dad's going to watch golf all weekend, too. And I'm just be like, hey, got a fork? Gouge my eyes out. Speaking of potentially boring things for other people to watch, let's switch gears, catch up. Whoa, news bit. Where the fuck is it?
You screwed up your whole layout there.
I did.
Yeah.
And it was alphabetical for a while there. I should really edit this show, but
You need trifocals. You need a little more zoom.
look at how far back my head
I
is.
know. You're like this.
We don't have enough time. Brought to us by Cycle Systems Online. Go from zero to hero or from can't change a flat to master mechanic in one short year. Trust me, this site has all you need to get your skills sharpened and bike purring. Use our link at packfiller.com, please. The mini stage race week that crams itself into our spring classic season has completed with Italy hosting Tirreno Adriatico and France its own little Paris-Nice. Very nice. Both races are a great way for the Grand Tour riders to strut their spring fitness and for Pat Lefebvre to show his curmudgeon-y inside. And this year did not fail to provide. First off, Tirreno was a tour de force from the one and only Jonas Vingegaard. I say Vingegaard. I know that's not how he says it. But, people call me Bulgar all the time. So deal with it, Jonas. Showing that he was truly the man to watch in July. So, quick chime in. Who watched?
Of course I did.
Paul did. Jackson, you did not.
I know.
You didn't watch Trent?
I know what happened in every single day.
Oh yeah.
It's just the same thing happened in every single day.
It was the Jonas Show.
Yeah, that's all it was.
Yeah. Too bad he doesn't have any brothers.
I thought Perry Nice was the more entertaining of the two.
But
Yeah.
the sprints were pretty exciting,
Yeah.
though.
Juan Ayuso said that he was, and I quote, the first human in this race in regards
Yeah.
to Vingegaard.
Yeah.
He just was like, that guy's not human.
Someone to look out for, speaking of which, is
Ayuso?
Juan Ayuso.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that he won't probably go to the tour, but I think he should if they really want to win it.
Yeah. Or negotiate a contract with, any other
Some
team.
other team.
Yeah, it's
And
that's
Ineos.
so
Honestly,
sad.
Ineos would be a great spot for him.
Yeah, yeah. In my opinion, it was good, but not as good as Paris-Nice. But I was forced to watch on Peacock Paris-Nice because my work didn't allow me to use my NordVPN.
What?
It doesn't. It's got so many paranoid restrictions because I'm at a high school, and they think that if a kid gets on a VPN, that they're gonna cheat.
I think they're probably thinking worse than that.
Yeah. Well, I think if a kid's got a VPN and he's going around the back way in terms of doing stuff to get an A on a math quiz, that kid has got a better future than just about anybody who could pass that math quiz.
Yeah.
But that's just that. And I know that I don't mean to bash Bob and Christian, but they tend to dumb it down for the American audience, and I get kind of tired of that.
But and the unfortunate thing with those two, because they're better than that.
Yeah.
but it is American NBC,
Yeah.
and they have
Yeah.
they're trying to bring in a new crowd.
Yeah.
It's just, I said this last year, it's an American accent. It just makes it feel not as good.
It's a little dirty. Isn't
Yeah.
it? It's a little gross.
Yeah.
Well, Bob in his early days with Phil,
Yeah. Phil and Paul.
Yeah.
We had the dialect. You're right,
yeah,
Jackson.
Yeah, but his commentary was pretty good and kind of on point of his character that he is, and I think they had a tape, just
He was more color than play-by-play,
yeah,
and so Bob's now doing
Play-by-play.
doing play-by-play, which kind of restricts him in terms of his
Yeah.
his references and his pop culture stuff that he was really solid at. But Paris-Roubaix. Whoops, I'm thinking ahead. Paris-Nice, a great American hope in terms of bike races. Matteo Jorgensen.
Matty J.
Yeah, what's that?
Matty J is what they called him.
It's great. How come all of our riders are starting to sound like foreign riders? Sepp Kuss, Matteo, Brandon McNulty even sounds like
That's pretty American.
I think
British.
that sounds British.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not really Scott, is it?
I don't think so.
McNulty.
Quinn Simmons is also
Brandon
a
McNulty.
British name.
Brandon McNulty. Brandon. Remco in the middle at second. Just me, or was this a surprise? David, it's a surprise. He's like,
He is.
Bike
no
racing?
clue.
he's going who?
Who's Remco?
eh?
Aeroskin?
Yeah.
Yes,
yes.
Look at you.
Picking up things.
Somebody give him a biscuit.
I'm good at flashcards.
Yeah.
Flashcards.
That's how I became a doctor.
I'm pretty happy. Yeah, I'm pretty happy to see Remco up there fighting for the win.
Yeah.
It's good to see that he can at least right now fight for a 7-day stage race. I was surprised to see Primoz not.
He looked overweight.
He just looks like he's not
Yeah.
where he was,
Yeah.
and I think that we are seeing I think Sam, you mentioned this a couple weeks ago, or Paul, that he is being a little bit more conservative in his 7-day stage race because he would win all of those, just crush them. And so I'm interested to see if that's a plan or if that is genuinely new team, new training plan, not really going how it used to. But
Is he playing the long game here?
that's kind of what I'm thinking. He wants that tour bad.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see that. Remco, hopefully it's not too early for a form to hit, but good for him.
Yeah, I think he's still so young. Like at that age, your fitness can turn so quick.
Yeah.
Whereas like I feel like when you're a bit older, like God, Garrett has to
You're
be
sounding
to
like
a
his-
T, right?
Yeah,
I
people
know.
your age.
As
Yeah.
When we get older.
There we go.
As we get older.
As
He
we
said we.
age.
And I was like,
Yeah.
look at you.
Yeah.
You Adonis. Stop it.
Yeah, it's a freaking model.
He is.
I'm having struggles with it right now. I'm insecure
should.
at work.
Yeah.
I was the best looking, and now he's
Pretty
there.
soon you're going to be pulling a full-on salt burn. You know,
God,
just
I
like
know.
licking the pool.
I know. Okay, yeah. So what we're talking about is that like Geraint Thomas has to be like so.
Such a gross reference. I haven't even seen the movie, but I know the scene. Have any of you guys seen that movie?
Nope.
Don't.
I won't. But
Anyway.
so Geraint Thomas has to be like so regimented for all of his season, right? If he wants to peak for like 2 of these races, whereas like the younger guys, they kind of get to just shotgun this.
Yeah.
You know, it's like your fitness can change so quickly that like if you're just in the top 2, Remco probably did quite a bit of more training than I ever would in the off season, but I mean, he's probably gonna race himself into fitness.
Egan Bernal, boys and girls.
Yeah, that's
oh
cool.
my God, I am rooting for that guy. Do you know who Egan Bernal is?
Yeah.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
He wears a red shirt.
Did you
guy,
know that
red shirt.
he has he won a race in the past?
Yes.
Which one?
A big one?
Yeah, which big one?
The Tour de France.
Oh, you're right. Wow. That's almost like it was fed to you.
Le Tour de France.
I want to comment on how well Mads Pedersen is riding right now. I think the guy has a classic and some sprinters jerseys in his future. Guy's dominating. Any other performances of note? I mean, should this bring any type of attention from the American audience? We had for a long time first and second in that race with Jorgensen and McNulty. Actually, reverse that. Do you guys expect any? And with Sepp Kuss winning Tour of Spain last year, are we on the verge of something good? Or I think, Paul, you said it on our ride the other day. As we were leaving a coffee shop, we bumped into somebody and said, just a random person, I bet they couldn't name more than 3 riders from the United States in the Pro Peloton these days. Is that the case, or do we, or is there maybe a resurgence of American interest?
I think that like we are growing a lot, and we have a lot of people that are up there. I don't foresee any of these guys being like Grand Tour contenders. But if I were to just make a blank statement of like what I would want for the U.S. riders, it'd be like, I mean, how cool
Grand
would it be
Tour
to be,
contenders. Sepp Kuss won a Grand Tour.
No, I get that, but also like if Jonas was going for that, I am a huge Kuss fan, but if Jonas was going for that,
Yeah.
Jonas would have taken that. Roglic couldn't take it, but Jonas could have taken it.
You think so?
Oh, for sure. He was glued on
I-
Roglic's wheel, and he's like, I'm not coming around you because I'm not going to take this win.
I think Roglic could have taken it, but there's a team deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
blow past
I
it.
disagree. But
All right.
but that's fine. We've had
Yeah.
debates about it.
That's okay.
Okay.
If people talk bad about you, just deny them.
Yeah,
but
they're
make sure you
wrong.
talk
They're
like
wrong.
this when
They're
you're talking.
wrong. I'm orange. Anyway, so I believe that we don't necessarily have like anybody that's going to win the Tour or even Giro. Maybe Kuss could win the Tour of Spain again.
Who's racing the Giro for the U.S.?
Nobody that's trying to win it.
Mateo's gonna. If he goes, he's gonna have to race for Wout.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, but like, what I think would be cool is like, what if we had like,
because I think with the anyway, go ahead.
just what if we had like we were like a Belgian team, like country in the
Yeah.
sense of like we had these guys that were just beasts. Like that's what I think
Yeah.
that the U.S. could provide anyway is powerhouses. Like we are bigger generally than a lot of other people in the world. So I don't know. I think that's cool that we have people that are just doing well generally.
Yeah.
I feel like American wise, I agree. I don't know if that we're going to have a lot of people that are going to really like broaden the spectrum of who's watching professional cycling. I think that we are going to. This will help bring American cyclists into watching cycling races now, which I guess in turn, new cyclists. It's just a constant conveyor belt. So hopefully, but I don't foresee like a gigantic spike. Just like with the Lance documentary, I didn't see that. I never saw that it would be like, wow, we're going to watch the races now.
Yeah.
But I think that it will get them more interested in it. I think that some of the local racers in this specific city, in fact, probably didn't watch a lot of bike racing before, but now that they heard that Sepp Kuss won the Giro, the Vuelta, maybe that got him. I think I actually know that got him more into watching it. So I think that it's a possibility.
And the viewing opportunities. I mean, it used to be that these bike races were on major networks, and that would at least spark an interest. But even though it was wedged between auto racing and golf, but yeah, we don't have that anymore. It's now a very specific way to watch these races.
It'll be interesting
restricted.
with Unchained, that series.
Yeah.
How much? I mean, it's done wonders for Formula One.
Yeah.
And they're in their 5th, 6th season, and it'll be 2 years going in on the next one. So yeah, it could be a good thing and start kind of brightening people. That's what people like. We're used to network television. No one watches network television anymore.
No, it's done.
Yeah.
It's dead. Yeah. Everything's going to be on demand.
Yeah.
Okay. In other words, Giro ain't going to take the UCI's shit anymore. The helmet manufacturer has insisted it, quote, plays by the rules, end quote, after the UCI announced a review into time trial helmets, a move seemingly triggered by the launch of the new Giro Arrowhead 2, a.k.a. a Volvo on your head. In a post from Instagram last week...
I'm sorry, Volva?
Volvo.
Oh, okay.
Easy there, Dr. Creepy.
You are the one.
Steady on.
Okay.
Yeah, I said Volvo.
Yeah.
Volva?
That's a whole different image. If somebody's into
my
AI, Google that one.
Yeah.
Okay. In the Instagram last week, Giro revealed that the UCI had authorized the prototype of that Arrowhead 2 to be used in racing for 2024 on October of 2023. Crucially, however, there is a little, side statement that says, and I quote, the authorization, Jesus. The authorization is thus provisional and may be amended or withdrawn at any time. So, ugly helmet aside, what is up with the UCI and changing directions on this ruling? Is this you snuck something by us, it is against the rules now, or is this everybody's complaining, so we're going to change our minds because we want to be the cool kids in the room?
It's Dan Lloyd. Dan Lloyd.
You think
started
that's
the
what it
whole
is?
thing.
Did he?
Yeah, if you watch the GCN show, that was like everybody's like, yeah, what Dan Lloyd said. It was the cosmetic part of cycling. It doesn't bring people in. They're like, okay, let's cross the
So you
line.
think the UCI is making this decision based upon popular opinion?
I don't. I think that it has a bit of a part into why this is all happening. I mean, to start, I want to talk about the Specialized TT helmet that the sock that they
Aero
banned.
sock or wind sock or yeah.
So originally that helmet was it was approved, but it wasn't like fully approved. It kind of snuck in a little bit under the radar, and they were really they made that helmet and they put it out and they didn't know or something about the sock. Anyways, it was one of those provisionally approved products that they saw and then they were fine with for 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 years they were fine with that helmet, and then what they did is they saw that other brands are starting to kind of change how their helmets worked, and they opened up the UCI
Which
rules.
is page 4 of the book of Duh.
Yeah, and they opened up the UCI rules to how a helmet can be. But we're starting to see that the helmet is starting to become the body a little bit. And I think that they open up the rules, but they're kind of starting to take it back a little bit. And it feels like, I don't know, if you can't do that, it just feels like after a little while. I mean, there are very specific, parameters of what a helmet can be, and the Giro helmet does fit in there. And so now it's just one of those things where it's like the classic UCI going back on a rule that they already made. This just doesn't feel right. I think that it should stick around. I hate the helmet, but innovate or die, right?
Paul, it reminds me of our days when the first Aero helmets came out, when the Funny Bike came out. Mm-hmm. Everybody thought it was ridiculous looking and stuff like that. Some of us who were younger thought it was cool. Mm-hmm. I thought it was cool when the Funny Bike came out and stuff like that. There's this talk of, it's got to be equal across all teams. Not all teams had aero bikes. Mm-hmm. Well, if Laurent Fignon was here today, he would probably like to have a little comment about aero bars and the Tour de France that he lost by 8 seconds because he didn't have that technology. So your entire argument of haves versus the have-nots is kind of silly. I don't want these helmets to exist because I think they're ugly. But you know what? There's a market for them. Maybe they have a place. So the UCI just seems like they're just shooting themselves in the foot right now.
I think I really think they probably this is my take on it. They opened the door with the head sock thing,
Yeah.
and then they saw how ridiculous it's getting. It's like, okay, we've crossed the line. But the problem is you have companies that have put tons of money into these.
Tons. Yeah.
And I have to confess, I love time trials. I like watching time trials. I was been around when the Funny Bike first came out and all that technology. System U had a seat that actually had like a razor in the back. Yeah, and had a fairing so they could press. And it just like all of a sudden we started getting a little bit crazy. Even at that point, I'm like, all right, aero bars were fine, and now we're getting into these positions that are like, well, how many training accidents? Because you got to train in that position.
Yeah.
You know, Bernal and Froome.
Yeah.
They're not a safe bike. I just think TTs are. I don't think they have a place in stage racing anymore. I don't unless I don't
pro
know,
or
and I
amateur?
don't pro amateur. Well, there's a battle with the amateurs. Like, do we make our local RC3? They've changed their TT. It's going to be a flat one out by the start of the road race, and you can bring TT bikes. Well, man, that really changes things, right?
Yeah, I immediately decided not to race it when I heard that. 'Cause it was going to be a waste of energy.
To me, it's like, I think, unfortunately, that discipline in road racing should go away for stage races. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Because it becomes an arms race. I mean,
I will forward all of the responses to your
no, it's not
private
going to be
email.
good.
Yeah.
And I really like watching that advance in the speeds and everything, and then all of a sudden, it's like having one too many beers. I'm going to throw up.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about this. So
I will also say when it comes to
I
time,
like that analogy. That's a really good way to put it.
when it comes to this topic of like, if you've got the money to really put into that much innovation, why not use it? Well, no, seriously, but I mean, at least
Sorry, there's some in my throat.
No, you're good. But when it comes to the pro level, the word success was the first word that really popped into my head. And success, I feel like, in a modern sense, has such a financial backing to it anymore. And I think that if in this day and age you want to have a successful cycling team, you have to have the funds behind it to succeed. I'm sorry, but a team like Visma Lease a Bike is not going to succeed if they do not have the financial backing to, first of all, put all that like R&D into the helmets, the bikes, the skin suits, and then also to provide the wages for these highly successful riders.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm sorry, but a Cofidis is never in this world going to compete against a Visma Lease a Bike just because of the money.
Yeah.
They just don't have that success.
there lies a problem, and I'll use this as an example. Track racing may disappear in the Olympics, and the reason for that is that if you think of all the countries in the world coming in, how many have velodromes, can actually train?
Yeah.
Because they're expensive. They're not a moneymaker.
Yeah.
We see them close down. There's not hardly any in the United States.
You got to run a whole building.
Yeah, it's just not viable. And I think that is the way of TTs. I think we're going to the point where, like, teams, I mean, even professional teams, who's going to be able to afford, to have all this equipment, top-notch equipment?
Plus, you got to put like 12 bikes on the top of each car to get that reverse draft.
Exactly.
That's right.
That's a lot of random bikes.
Absolutely.
You guys don't have anything. I'm teasing. Let's look ahead. Let's preview. Dave Matthews, Bob. Milan San Remos this weekend, and I couldn't be more excited. And although I'm going to be out of town when it happens, so if any of you guys text me any spoilers, I will
do that.
Yeah, I know you did it on
I
the.
did this weekend. Yeah, and it was horrible.
You're welcome.
I hate spoilers.
You know what? Here's the reality. I've been a super fan for a long time. How long do you guys want me to keep this pent up?
24 hours.
No, it's too much.
24 hours. That's the rule. Classics, 24 hours. Or should we go 12 hours? What should be the rule on spoiling a classic?
Nice. Come on.
I don't have to
that's
play
great.
this game because I watch it live, so
Yeah.
I don't have.
But no,
anything.
I mean before you spoil it for somebody else, what should be the time
I don't say
minimum?
anything. I wait for somebody else like Sam to spoil it for
Yeah.
you.
I'm going to be honest. Wait till 6 p.m. that night.
The night of the race?
Yeah.
6 p.m.
Oh, my
Well, you
God.
can always text me. We can
And
Alright.
if you're a quote journalist, unquote, watch how you make your freaking headlines. I hate the
The
head.
photo that you
I
choose.
logged on to. I'm
Yep.
back. I'm mad at fucking Flow Bikes again.
There goes
I
2.
logged
How many
on-
have you already done?
I don't know. I logged on to Flow Bikes the day to watch the final stage of Paris-Nice, and their home screen had a picture of Matteo Jorgensen and a headline that said, Jorgensen pulls off a win at Paris-Nice. What are you doing? Your job is to get me to subscribe to watch the bike races you're spoiling on your homepage. Head, ass, pull. Stop it. You have one job. One job. God, it made me so mad.
I wish I was there for that.
Oh, my wife wishes you were here too, because I'm just like, rah, throwing shit across the room. She's like, okay, well, that's unreal. Oh, okay.
I blacked out.
People at this age tend to get a little angry. I'm going to call that the show. 288 kilometers. That is just shy of 173 miles. That is insane. Parkour is mildly flat with Passa del Torcino being the only major hurdle at the midpoint of the race. And I'm probably, Paul, correct me if I've got any of this wrong. And the Cipressa and Poggio make or break the race. This was for many years, and Paul, you could probably comment on this, being our closest historian, very much a power riders race. And then for a short window there, the Zabel years, Eric
Sprinters
Zabel
came
years,
in.
yeah, the sprinters came in and were able to kind of
Oscar
control it.
Ferrer was another one that
Yeah.
won.
And now it's switched back to almost that, where that final climb has more of a statement. Thoughts on are we still in that happy classics riders years, or do we see any kind of a transition?
You look at a classic rider like Vanderpool. If he came down to a sprint anyway, he's going to be contender. He won last year, so I think people like Vincenzo Nibali.
Yeah.
He won it one year just because he outclimbed and everybody thought they could catch him on the descent, because at the bottom of the descent, I think there's like 3 kilometers, I think it is.
Yeah.
Probably a little more than that, maybe 5 or something. But, and there's a technical downhill.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think, there is a trend that goes a certain way, but I think that also comes up with tactics. And if you have a team that is a sprinter, you're going to race it differently than somebody who's got like a Vanderpool or somebody who's got a Tadej Pogacar.
Yeah.
You know these guys? Anyway, so
Yes.
Still with us
Bike
there,
show,
Chief?
David.
Yeah. Oh, God.
but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But the Cipressa is where things have in the past, not very often, busted open. But
yeah.
like it, well, some people, even if it's on the downhill, for the last couple of years, has been the downhill.
Yeah.
So I mean, you have Mohoric with his drop post, and then also with,
Which was an
Vanderpool.
unbelievable descent.
Well, and
Yeah.
Vanderpool did the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, no one could catch him.
And the speed they went up that climb was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Okay. So are we all going to agree that there's at least 2 riders that we basically are all going to vote for on that list?
No.
Can I guess?
Yes.
Tade
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Vanderpool.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yep.
Gotcha.
There we go.
Are we all voting for those riders except Sam,
Yes.
who's trying to find as many Americans as he can?
I did circle Matteo and Tade, but
Matthew.
Matthew.
but I also Mads Pedersen, Christophe Laporte.
Well, you can only
they're-
pick 3.
Okay, but here's my thing: is Nielsen Palace is going to win?
I would really love that.
You're adorable.
I know. USA.
What's the kid from Sidal Quickstep? Luke, the American
Luke Lamperti.
Yeah,
Lamperti.
Lamperti.
Yeah.
Nah,
He's
he
not
doesn't-
there,
he
though.
doesn't have it.
Well, he's
Yeah,
not
he
there.
is. I think he is.
I don't see him on the
no,
list.
this one.
Alaphilippe, Askren, Cataneo, Kearney, Moscone, Pedersen.
But you know who
So
is?
Who?
Nielsen Palace.
Nelson Palace. So are we all going to agree that we all pick Tade and Matthew? So in other words, we all get to pick one rider. So you picked
Nelson Palace.
Nelson Palace. Jackson?
I picked Mads Pedersen.
Boo.
I'm gonna change mine.
So did I. So, okay, we'll give Jackson Mads Pedersen. So I have to pick somebody new now. Son of a...
I will say, as you are thinking about it, I think Tom Squeens deserves a little bit of an honorable mention.
Yeah.
I don't think that a single person from Zudao Quickstep is going to be in the top 10. What else? Tell me when you're ready to go.
I love how everybody's over whispering over.
I think Danny Van Poppel is a very, very possible top 10er, even maybe top 3er.
Who was that?
Danny Van Poppel won on the Champs-Elysees. Who else?
Didn't he ask for
No, you're
Stuyven when
He won a while ago. He won in 2019.
Yeah.
Yes,
and again, a breakaway. Down.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna, because I love him as a human being. Michael Matthews, he's just been hiding. He's just gonna sprint out of nowhere, and he's not gonna win. I'm so screwed.
That would be really cool.
It would be really cool.
That would be really cool. I love that.
I was
guy.
gonna say Matthews or Filippo Ganna, but Paul.
I'm
who do you
going
got
a long
left?
shot, but he has performed very well, and that's Maxim Van Heels for.
Oh yeah, for Lotto Destiny.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
David,
yeah.
who's your choice?
I think
Yeah, you're gonna love it. Go ahead.
You are gonna love it. Ghana Filippo.
Oh my
Ganna Filippo.
my favorite.
You know
I
what?
didn't even
Filippo
circle
Ganna.
him because I hate the guy so much.
I know.
I think Biniam Girmay. Honestly,
No,
honest to God,
you should say Germay Biniam because
excuse
David
me.
said Ganna Filippo.
I think Biniam Girmay is a real
He
candidate
shouldn't
for this.
even get the rider because he said his name backwards.
Yes, but what? Is
Yeah, do you know?
No, he
That's-
knows.
Written
He
this
knows.
way, okay? I don't know who's first and second names, last name.
Look at how Tade has written.
But that's not a bad choice.
Oh,
I mean,
Filippo Ganna.
he got what?
I see.
What did Ghana get? Fourth, third?
Look,
got
okay.
a
yeah,
couple
for
years.
sitting in
what I-
last year. Don't get me.
When you walk into a hospital room, David, and somebody
I'm out.
looks at you and says, and they hand you a chart, and that dramatic music's playing in the background, because that's how I imagine all things are at a hospital. And they're like, he's code red, doctor. Do you concur?
He's on
and
fire.
you look at the name on the chart, and you have only like a couple seconds, and the music's going chick-gong, chick-gong,
Yes.
chick-gong. And the name in the background says GANNA FILIPPO. Are you going to look and say, Mr. Ghana, you
Or-
have 30 seconds to live? Or are you going to go like, Mr. Filippo,
Honestly,
I don't know what you're doing?
You won't
Both
even
work.
use it.
Yeah.
yeah.
You won't
And
say
to be
anything to
honest, usually you don't use their name.
Shit.
You just say,
You
sir.
say,
I
"Hey,
tried
I'm
to go. I
doctor."
tried to
And
go
there's a
all
whiteboard
hospital
anyway,
drama.
the nurse
and he
writes
just told
down
me-
Yeah, they
everything.
put their preferred pronouns on the and name on the whiteboard, all that. But you know what? To be honest, yeah, I very much remember Sam's dislike of Ghana, and
Yeah.
played a huge part in.
He went and
the
poured
decision.
beer.
That plus, y'all are picking. I don't know what you guys are basing your picks off, but I figured put a good sprinter in there. We'll see.
Power man.
Where's he from, David?
I have
Time
no
for some
idea.
bumpers.
Give one guess.
Time for some segments.
Philippines.
Anyways.
Hey, where do you think it's from?
Italy.
Time for some segments tonight. We've got 4 segments, which means we got to make like a bread truck and haul buns through these segments. How's the score, Paul?
They're down.
Damn it.
Yeah.
I guess we're all down now. All the segments are brought to us by our friends at Untapped Energy. Pure Vermont maple syrup is the core to great tasting and easily digestible energy. It ain't just for your pancakes, folks. It's brilliant stuff that powers you through, especially on those colder rides. I love it on the colder rides. It's not a little bit thicker, and it's just kind of yum, yum, yum. Use the link at Packfiller. Paul, you okay to jump into a Changing Times?
Yeah, it'll be real quick.
Okay.
We were talking on a ride, about KOMs and stuff like that, and in the time that I had that 14 days of free Strava, and I looked up my name for 55 and 60, whatever that cutoff is, and I couldn't believe how many I had. Then I started thinking,
You had 14
Well,
days
how
of
many-
paid Strava, basically. You had the full open
it was-
account.
the trial period
Yeah,
of
yeah.
14, yeah. So anyway, I looked it up, and I was like, wow, there's a lot of them. Then I thought, of all the people I used to race with, that brought me back in the 80s and stuff, no one's really doing what I'm doing. And it's sad because I always look at this is a sport you can do for the rest of your life. And we talked about competitive spirit and stuff. And nothing drives me more to ride my bike than bike racing. But I think I started thinking about people who dropped off. They were better riders than me, which is not too hard to accomplish.
See,
but
there he's doing
they
it
had
again.
they have a higher, like kill ratio on races and stuff.
Pretty soon you're going to have that devil on your shoulder. Just
No,
be careful.
I've lived with that
No,
devil.
it's a slippery
and I flick him in the
fucking
nose
slope,
every
man.
once in a while.
Just be careful.
But the thing is I made that decision when I had a chance to go to Europe and make my break, but I didn't.
Yeah.
But I think what happens is that once you hit a certain level, and it's hard to look back, and you brought up doing a VO2 max out at Eastern, and it's like, this old guy's like, oh, I know what my score was when I was 27.
Yeah.
I don't want to look at it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't, and that's what happens with bike racing. The unfortunate thing is I think a lot of people aren't willing to go back because they were who they were back then. You're not going to be there. I'm not going to push the numbers. I'm not going to do racing.
You're not going to compete against 1-2s that are
No,
20 years
those
old.
days are over. And then I started thinking about Missoula. That was the first P12 race that I did since I was like 29 years old.
Nice.
I mean, a true.
And it was proper.
Yeah. So, but that didn't discourage me, and it didn't beat my head with reality. I knew once I found out who they were, I'm like, oh, shit. But that's unfortunate when I always make that joke that there's always next year, and that is cycling.
Yeah.
If you're passionate about racing and you're passionate about competition, I think this is a sport that, hey, just every year it's a new year, and just don't let that you're going to be falling from grace. I just think that's an important thing about cycling. I think is unique. That's that.
Agreed.
So don't worry about it if you're a Cat 2 and you're getting dropped by 4s.
I just put self-adhesive bifocal sticky pads in my cool sunglasses because Jackson thought
Good
my
Lord.
other ones.
When
that I
we
bought
get
are
old,
bad.
though, we need to do that.
As we age.
I
About
will,
adapting.
I will
As we
defend
age.
myself to the T on this one.
Dude.
You said no.
I'm not upset with you.
I know you said. You kept pushing me. I was like being super nice, and then you're like,
Don't be
"What do you
nice.
feel?"
Tell me the truth. I need to know if I look like a dipshit or not.
You
I know.
always look like a dipshit.
No.
If you want to know if you look,
Dude, I
like
served
more
that up. I'm so glad you took it
Nice
off the
softball.
platter. Yeah,
There you go.
exactly.
But yeah, I'm just gonna defend myself on that one.
No, I was not upset.
I know.
And
I
I'm
know.
glad you did that. And so speaking of which, oh shit stick. Let's go to style points
All right.
with Jackson Bolger.
Okay.
We're gonna save the Waples to the end so we can edit them out.
So here we go.
There's a meme.
Me, see my power.
So we haven't gotten to the point yet. I do have pictures for you guys. If you really want them, just look them up.
Google them.
Just listen to them. Look
I
it up
gotta
on your
get
phone.
you. I gotta get you tied into the monitor so you can actually post
Yeah.
them on the monitor.
It's all good. Anyways, so Ajay Duzer Decathlon recently posted that they have a new season long jersey, and it is very starry. And I have pictures to show all of you, but we will get to that. First of all, we're going to talk about jerseys. So, what's your favorite color? That's what my first question
Ooh.
is. Sam Waples, what's your favorite color?
Navy blue.
Paul Main, what's your favorite color?
Green.
Is there a shade of green? Because that's a very
Chartreuse to even olive green. I like greens.
cool. David,
I was going to say olive green.
that's totally cool.
What? Mine's
Bolger.
green. Mine's green, but I tend to be a little bit more of a lime green. But it is still a dark green.
Yeah. I olive to forest green. It's
Holy
interesting.
shit!
I find that as we age, we like green more.
One
I
of
will-
these
I will
things
say-
are not
Yeah, I
like
find
the other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. What? Who's the misfit
Yeah.
here? Who's the asshole?
Anyways,
You have to ask.
what's your favorite color to see on a cycling kit, Sam?
You
could say navy.
blue. Navy
Yeah,
blue.
yeah. Sam, or excuse me, Paul.
Yeah, let's not get this too.
Oof.
Yeah, take that back.
You don't see too much green, so it's a nice refreshing. I mean, blue reds are constantly done. I think they're not offensive, but I'd like to see some green in there.
Yeah. David.
It's gonna be unpopular opinion, but something about white kits always do it for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Really?
They're clean.
Yep.
Like UAE.
Yep.
Yep.
Pat Bolger.
It's hard for me because the spectrum goes so across the board. Because you'll see, like, I remember the you want a quick answer.
It's all good.
I don't know why yellow pops into my head because it's such a classic
Floral?
cycling color.
We're just like that yellow behind you.
Yeah, kind of like that. I keep
Okay.
thinking of the
Like a yellow.
of the Renault jerseys.
Yeah.
Okay. I do like a navy. I kind of like a black. I like a darker green as well.
Yeah.
I just want one word here: muted or color. Sam.
Muted.
Mute.
Muted means like it's not
Subdued,
very bright.
mellow.
Oh, muted for sure.
Okay.
This is a sport about advertising. Bright.
Yeah.
I am bright as well. So, and then this is the way to end it. So we have a lot of really weird kits this year. Let's be really honest
Yes.
about it. We do. Do you like these kits? So we are going with hate or love.
Yeah.
So this is AG Ducer Decathlon.
The newest
This is
one.
the new kit.
Yeah.
This is the very
They
Galaxy.
just changed it again.
I like
Yeah.
their old one better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sam?
it's a little white.
I'm gonna go hate because I don't love it.
Okay.
You don't have to choose one.
Paul, love or hate?
Don't like, no, hate.
Okay. David?
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say I love it.
It looks like Israel Premier Tech is riding towards
Yeah.
me, so I hate it.
I love it.
Do you?
I think it's cool. It's interesting. It's better than a black kit
Yeah.
or the same kit
I
than
think
last
that if
year.
the sleeves were white instead of that like kind of pea green,
Yeah.
mucusy green, I would have liked it more.
I didn't hate their old kit from
Yeah, I liked
10
it.
days ago.
We've already done this EF Pro Cycling.
love looking
Love.
at some Palace.
I don't like the blend of the yellow in there.
Fair.
I think they really do a good job. I love it.
They are marketing geniuses.
They are.
Yep.
Love it.
Love it too.
Always have loved it.
Love.
Even when they had that kind
Love.
of greenish shorts.
Albacin de Koenig.
Love.
We did not get to talk about this one.
No.
This
Love.
is the
Don't like
tuxedo. The
The-
Canadian tuxedo.
Yeah, it's all
There.
Where's Korea?
These
Carrera.
young kids,
Yeah,
these kids
yeah.
don't know the Carrera
Yeah.
connection.
I don't like it
Well, that's
at all.
that was the inspo.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's classic. It's
clean.
Yeah. I like it.
I don't hate it, but I don't love it, just because it's been done. Yeah, and I understand it's a callback. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. Okay, then I love it because
There you
they're
go.
paying homage.
I hate it. I really hate
Yeah, me too.
it. We have
You give me a look.
we have 3 more, so we got to go quick.
Love it.
Nope.
Hate
I
it.
hate it.
Hate
David.
it.
God,
Bora Hansgrohe.
yellow and green, not digging it.
Bora Hansgrohe. Yeah, I don't like it. I
It's
liked it.
the
I liked
bright
it when
color.
I saw it
Yeah.
in the studio, but I don't like it on the road.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Sam loves it.
Take
I
well.
hate it. Next is Visma Lisa bike.
Love.
Don't like it.
Yellow and then just black.
Sam love. Paul hates. David.
Love it.
I love the simplicity of it, so I'm gonna
Yep.
give it to him. Yep.
Fair. All right. We have our last one. Lidl Trek.
I hate it. Look, it
I
makes
like
me
the
think of a
design, but I
cartoon.
don't like the colors.
Yeah.
Too many colors in there. Yellow,
Okay.
white, red, blue.
So we have
yeah.
Sam, Paul, David. Really don't like it all. Hate.
No,
I
hate
don't like
it.
it. Yeah.
I love how it's a throwback to La Vie Claire, kind of a steel. It's almost Mondrian, which is cool. But yeah, I agree with Paul. I wish it was a different color scheme.
Best kit in the Pro Peloton.
Yeah,
Love it.
You.
I agree. I do agree that it is the best kit. Behind EF first.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
EF.
EF Pro Cycling.
Okay, what's that?
I'm curious. Do you think that's also because it's a U.S. team?
Yeah, Sam.
Both are. Lidl Trek is also.
Since you're talking, let's fit tips with Sam. Tonight focuses on how much time we got. We got 10 minutes. We're good. Oval chain rings. They come and go. Last I recall, even though when I wrote this, I remember Carlos Sastre winning a Tour de France on oval chain rings. But then I started to think about the fact that Froome was a big oval chain ring guy.
And Wiggins.
Oh, Wiggins was too.
Yep.
So we see them come and go, but we don't see them as predominantly. When you see the people who are firm believers in them, you think everybody's going to fall in line. What are the benefits, and why aren't we all on them?
Love this. So, I think I can answer this pretty properly and without getting too nerdy. I am a big fan of these personally because of my height. And that's what we're going to get into. Because, for instance, I love Brad Wiggins. Dude's also really tall. Chris Froome, really tall, right? So a lot of the people that you see actually riding these in the pro peloton are taller riders. And it all has to do with leverage. Because if we go to the drive side of the bike, right, and we start looking at the crank, the oval is going to usually be like, horizontal.
Sure.
If the crank arm is straight up and down, right? So let's just talk crank, like on the drive side, the crank arm is straight up. We call that top dead center.
Yeah.
Anything bike fit world. We're at a horizontal plate. You're going to have more force that you can put and for a longer stroke from that power point if you are rocking an oval chainring. So for people that have really long levers, and we get into musculature and how complicated it is when you have, long torque levers, it makes way more sense for somebody to be on an oval chainring if you are, I'm going to say, I think the studies are somewhere around 6 foot and over. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, I have a
But
question.
also,
I'm over 6.
Yep. And so I do believe that like that, and then also crank arm length are two adaptations that you can do for your height as an individual that can really be beneficial to your power. And I'm not going to say that it makes it easier. It just changes it for you, and like where you are more efficient in your lever arm, like those two may play into it.
This is going to be for somebody who's really looking for performance base. This isn't going to be an average rider who's going to go out and say, I feel better.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like that.
I mean, but also it is like, to me, like I have ridden on both. Now I've like switched my road bike. It is over to an oval chainring, and then I hop on my dad's steel bike that is the round, and I'm like, whoa, this is
really
different. And it's just, it just takes off that when I'm in a fully hip compressed position, where I'm at a big disadvantage, it makes it easier to get over that.
How about as for a spinner versus a gear basher?
So that's the big thing. I mean, personally, I think that a spinner is going to be more beneficial on an oval, and I think that a sprinter or a gear basher is going to be better off on a round.
Sticking around.
I know.
That's what I was going to ask too. Because I feel like we all have such different riding styles. I was going to say, does a sprinter have one over a climber?
And if you guys look at me ride, right, like I spin at a pretty high cadence, and I just sit at a pretty high power for a long time. So, like, speaking into my efficiencies, like, an oval chainring works great for me. But if I were to be trying to be a sprinter, I'd probably want to work my way back into a round.
I gear bash. You can hear my knees from another county.
Same with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Finding myself heading that way.
You need the opposite. Yeah. You need the oval that is like in a different form so that you can like just even spin slower, Paul. Like that's what you need.
That's what I did on the hills.
Yeah.
That's when I slowed down.
Oh my God. And finally, this bastard who gets his own intro. That's right. Listen to this.
I think you already played it, didn't you?
No, I didn't play this
Another
one.
one.
Oh. We all get some music too. It's not all about you.
We don't get the curtain,
Although
or the beeping,
or the
knock, or the machine that goes,
or the knock.
Machine
that goes, bing.
I'm here.
Tonight's Ask Dr. David, and this was an interesting one. That a chance to use your psychological training, which I'm sure you spent a lot of time in psychiatry. Talk to me about the options of treating mental fallout after a bad crash. This isn't, we live in a culture still, I don't know if it's predominantly just U.S. or not, but it's this, suck it up mentality type of a thing. But getting back is a difficult process, physically and mentally. So that was the question that was posed to you, and I knew you had a little bit of time to think about it today, because I can only imagine I wouldn't even know how to approach this, because it's such a individualized basis.
Yeah, it would be. Well, it's tough, and I think I want to focus on like crashes that happen in a race.
Yeah,
because those are the ones that I think most of us have probably experienced. And I think the message I want to send with this is that first of all, give yourself time to heal from the physical standpoint. It's okay to take a couple days off if you're still hurting. give yourself that time and space to heal, acknowledging that you probably, hit the pavement with 2 millimeters of spandex on your body for protection and a styrofoam cup on your head. Take that seriously. Give yourself time to heal. And again, I think it's important to acknowledge and just normalize that you should feel a certain amount of fear when you get back on the bike. That's a healthy response. That's a protective response from the brain to something that you've just encountered. And it's your body telling you, let's not do that again. Let's try not to get hurt. And I think it's totally normal for a period of time to have some hesitancy with situations similar to the crash that happened. So if you were turning left, people will find like turning left to be more difficult. Like, hey, I'm not sure if my wheels are going to go out again, or I'm going to strike my foot, or whatever it was that caused your crash. That's normal. That's an adaptive mechanism from your brain trying to prevent this from happening again. That being said, it shouldn't go on for too long. You should, after a couple of weeks, you should be back on the bike. Hopefully you should be training again, intermittently, probably running into somewhat similar scenarios and feeling a bit of anxiety about it. Because you're somewhat triggered by the fact that you did something similar a couple of weeks ago and it caused you to fall and get hurt. That's protective. At a month, at 2 months, 3 months further out than that, if you're still having trouble riding your bike because you're experiencing, uncontrolled amounts of anxiety or fear that you're going to fall again, hurt yourself, again, not totally abnormal, but this is where you might consider reaching out for assistance moving on. You can start by talking to your doctor, or I think the culture around counseling nowadays, most people have a counselor. That's something that they can help you through. There's specific like acute traumatic stress syndrome therapies, as well as post-traumatic stress disorder. I mean, it's not exactly a PTSD probably, but your brain is undergoing a protective mechanism similar, where you're trying to avoid something that caused you harm in the past. So give yourself time and realize that you should be anxious for a couple of weeks afterwards. But repeatedly getting back on the bike, getting back on the horse, that sort of thing, going through the motions, do it with friends, go on bike rides with friends, that sort of a thing. Train your body to realize that it's safe. You're not going to get hurt again. And if it's going on past a month or two, that's where I would probably encourage people to reach out, talk to somebody, figure out if there's something they can help you with. There's cognitive behavioral therapy. There's specific types of therapy that can help you work through those unhealthy adaptive mechanisms. Past 2 to 3 months, that's where we're going to say you shouldn't be having these feelings, and it's now unhealthy.
It's so odd how we have a culture where mental health is treated almost as a weakness, and it's bizarre that either chemically you can't take care of something because you're thought of as weak, or you can't discuss it with somebody because you're thought of as weak, and it's just bullshit. I mean, the mental element of the whole thing. I joke around about my mental demons, but totally. But it's so ridiculous that we feel like that is a forbidden topic. I don't know if it's just this country or everywhere it is, but it's such
just
a
like any other injury. It's like you injure, it's like orthopedic, right?
Yeah.
In my world, it's like you injure something in your body. It's like you injured your ankle, weak.
Yeah.
Well, if
it's like, what do you?
If you break or sprain your ankle, you can't completely expect that you're just going to naturally know how to heal that.
Exactly.
Right? If you undergo a significant mental insult, you can't expect that you will every single time know how to perfectly heal that on your own.
Yeah.
Yep.
There are times where you will need the assistance of somebody who's trained in it. Same with orthopedics.
Exactly.
And I also find that it's very important to say that there's nothing wrong with you.
No.
That phrase, I think, is so volatile.
Yeah.
Because you just need a little bit of extra attention in an area that some might not. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
Yeah.
Nope.
I think everybody does. I just think that it's our culture that just decides that we don't do it. I think everybody can benefit from it.
Wow, that was heavy. We're going to end up with our final question, and I'm making the final question a time challenge now. Which means the final question is sponsored by our friend Lance at Emotive Audio Agency. And so we have our closing outro, and it's now a reminder for me to finally play the freaking outro. And so when I asked the question, everybody at this table has 1 minute and 19 seconds total.
Combined.
Yeah, total.
I can do it.
Oh, we all
No.
combine.
Everybody
the
has to
fastest.
finish this. It's a team effort, team time
yes.
trial effort here to answer this question. So, before I get to that, thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe to the way you prefer to be a part of the show, and drop us a rating when you feel you have the chance. So, gentlemen, what would you do if you were Chris Froome? Jackson.
Quit.
Retire.
You got time.
I think I'd probably smoke a blunt and
And then
think
retire.
things through. No, I think it's time to retire. I'm flopping the wing here.
I think
Pull
I'd
through.
do a bunch of physical therapy to try to fix whatever's going on with the back, and
Yeah.
the pose, the spider pose on the bike. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just focus on fixing all that.
I got
If he's
I
still
got
liking
50
it, if
seconds.
he's
It's
still
your
liking
stage,
it,
man.
though,
Yeah.
like you can take that away. If he's still liking it,
I think he's got a fortune in a contract
Yeah,
that he
yeah,
still
yeah.
has to fulfill, like $5 million or something like that.
This
So-
is his last year, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, I would pick a race and call it the Tour de Froome and train like hell for it, and make it a 1-week stage race and just go out like, hey, I won the Tour of Ireland, even though it doesn't exist anymore.
yeah.
Sure.
Other than
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
there's no tour in.
And
There's
he
no
crashed
tour.
and hurt his wrist the last race.
He broke it.
Broke it?
Yeah.
In other words,
Good night,
Who gives a
everybody.
shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. We will see you next week.
yep.